Today I fucked up by flagging my executive director's legitimate email as phishing, at a job where I am a new/temporary employee hoping to go permanent. The company is at a high risk for cyber attacks. They are very serious about this and we undergo training regularly to spot fake emails and are encouraged to report anything suspicious. So I'm hyper alert and also in the position of trying to be noticed by upper management so that I might be offered a permanent position in a few months. Not only did I report the email as phishing, I emailed everyone else on the thread and told them not to click the link. The list included my direct supervisor. When someone replied saying they thought it was legitimate, I said it was obviously not due to the many grammatical errors and spelling mistakes, and also the weird nature of the email itself. It was a very random/unfamiliar topic. He emailed the group this morning confirming it was legitimate. Too long didn't read, told a bunch of people at my new job that the executive director's email had to be phishing because of the many spelling and grammatical errors. It was not. One of many reasons I was relieved from my last long job was a constant battle with marketing over why their emails weren't getting through. I told them they were spam. They disagreed. I pointed out that they were unsolicited commercial emails, which is the literal definition. They said they were solicited. I asked where and to prove it. I was told just fix them. I replied that's a marketing problem. This conversation happened a dozen times. Better to flag than not flag. You did the right thing. Good luck with the job hunt though. Damn dude, lol. Hey, don't feel bad. When I finally get my Nigerian lottery check, I'll split it with you. This is actually hilarious. I hope your director takes it well. Good leaders will be happy that you caught it, even if a little overzealous, rather than missed an actual phishing attempt. There's a few companies I'd worked for who would send out phishing emails to the company just to see how many people opened them, to help provide training on the subject. I don't open anything I am not expecting, and I work in a world where my clients are sending me things all hours of the day and night from personal emails, cloud drives, etc. You did the right thing. I'd get face to face with that director and just apologize for causing the confusion, and thank him for clarifying that it was legit. You can tell him you've been hyper-vigilant due to the recent trainings. There's a 90% chance he'll laugh it off. On the 10% chance he's actually butthurt or retributive over it, you don't need to work for that company anyway. Maybe he'll do a better job moving forward of proofreading his emails before sending them out company-wide. Okay, for once, I agree. This is a legitimate today I fucked up. I don't see a way back from this one. Maybe they will forget about it in time, though. Today I fucked up by wearing sanitary towels as sweat guards in an interview. Disclaimer, this happened a few years ago but I just felt like now was the right time to share with you all. So I'd been looking for part-time jobs, retail/waitressing, to support myself through uni, and was eventually called for an interview at a fairly well-known clothing store. On the day before the interview I got myself prepared, read through some interview questions, picked out my outfit, you know the drill. Woke up on the morning of the interview and decided I was no longer feeling the outfit I'd chosen, so I made the executive decision to search for something more appropriate. It was last minute, but I managed to borrow a blue blouse from a very kind housemate. Now, there's no other way to say this but I am a very sweaty person. Always have been, probably always will be. I know excessive sweating has an actual name but I just never felt bothered enough to go and get it officially labeled by a doctor. Usually I just live my life with minimal hand holding and avoiding clothes I'll sweat through. So I'm in this situation where I really want to wear this blouse because it looks, I promise you, absolutely banging. But I'm also worried that obvious sweat marks in an interview isn't going to leave the best impression. In that moment there was a part of my tiny, flustered brain that said, panty liners. As sweat guards, they'll never know. And that's exactly what I did. Thought I was an absolute genius. Stuck these panty liners on the inside of the blouse and admired myself in the mirror. You could only see an outline if I had my arm above my head, so I thought I was totally safe. Set off for the shop, had a conversation with the other shop assistants, went in for my interview. I chatted to the manager, We talked about my CV, she asked what I was studying, and I have to say I was feeling pretty confident about the whole situation, until she starts asking me the proper interview questions. What I had failed to take into account was that I'd used super cheap period pads to line the blouse. I also didn't really account for the fact that when the pads got damp, they lose some stickiness. I could actually feel the pad come loose, and as I was answering questions I had to pull my arms in really tight to try and stop the pad from falling out of my top. I failed. In the middle of the interview, this panty liner just dropped out of my top onto the office floor. The manager looked at it. I looked at it. And in that moment, in this blind embarrassment, I just picked it up, made this awkward noise of oop, and then, that's mine. In hindsight, I just wish I'd at least said anything other than that's mine. I wish I'd been able to justify having a period pad fall out of my top. I also wish the manager had said something, anything, to relieve the atmosphere, but she sat there in absolute silence and looked at me holding this damp panty liner in my hand. I realized that I didn't even know how to begin explaining myself, and I definitely couldn't carry on with the interview holding a sanitary towel, so I just slipped it into the bag that was by my feet. What possessed me, I do not know. Probably should have asked for a bin, that would have been a normal thing to do. But no, I had to make things uncomfortable. The interview resumed after that, and there was absolutely no comment on what had just happened. It was only after leaving did the whole thing sink in. Absolutely mortified. Couldn't stop thinking about the fact that this woman silently watched me put a slightly soggy panty liner loose into a bag, in amongst my water bottle and folders. It's the sort of thought that keeps you up at 3 AM. Needless to say, I didn't get the job, but at least I can laugh about it now. In future I think I'll just invest in actual sweat guards, or keep my blouses tucked in. Too long didn't read. Try to prevent sweat stains by using panty liners as sweat guards. One fell out of my top during an interview. Edit, thank you for the awards. Much love. Him screaming. Smiley face. This is equally mortifying, hilarious, and amazing. Exactly 100% what I would have done, cause I too am an awkward piece of shit, lol. Thanks for the story. Thank you so much. Appreciate this massively. Glad I decided to share it, haha. A friend of mine was all sweaty and running late for an interview. He ran into a shop to buy some deodorant to try to cover up the funk. Accidentally bought shaving gel but only found out when spraying it liberally under his shirt. I absolutely love this, can only imagine the chaos. Okay, but for real, that actually is a genius idea. Failed in execution, but that doesn't mean you're not a genius. Smile. I have second-hand embarrassment from just reading this. I'm guessing the shop wasn't Sweaty Betty. I'd like to think that enough people out there know about the panty liner in the pit trick for super sweaty situations. I guess it's good to note that they're not all created equal, and it pays to get stickier ones. They worked great for me when I had to wear certain shirts for work that would show the slightest whisper of moisture. So hopefully this woman put the pieces together and had some understanding. The nervous interview sweats are no joke. Today I fucked up by going pee while a dozen teenagers listened. Background, I, 36 meters, am a HS teacher and we are in school on a hybrid model. Half the kids are in the building on a given day. Earlier this year the tech team installed a microphone/speaker system in every classroom to help masked teachers communicate more effectively. They warned us multiple times about muting ourselves when we leave the room or have a private conversation. But it only takes one mistake to have a royal fuck up. So, during a morning class today I pop over to the bathroom, which is literally next to my classroom, to relieve myself. I peed and washed my hands. Pretty straightforward. But when I set foot back in that classroom I realized what I had just done. The 10-15-year-olds in the room were looking at me in wild disbelief. I looked down at the mic hanging around my neck and said, "Oh, I forgot to mute, didn't I?" The remainder of class was the most awkward 45 minutes of my life. The kids mostly laughed it off, but there was still the weirdness hanging in the room. Thank God for the weekend. Too long didn't read. I went to the bathroom with my teaching microphone unmuted and my students heard me taking a piss. Honestly, coming from a 14-year-old, you don't need to care what they think, lol. This just happened in one of my online classes a couple days ago, smiley face. Search this happening to Greg Davis, you'll feel so much better, lol. At least they didn't hear wild diarrhea. It'll be okay. I had this happen to my class once, except it wasn't my teacher, it was the previous teacher, still connected, and it wasn't a class, it was a university lecture. It started with ambient noise of doors and people talking in the background, and then they started using the facilities. So about halfway through a lecture about Australian Aboriginal history and culture, we got a nice strong stream complete with that little extra bit at the end before the lecturer figured out how to disconnect him. Edit, spelling error. Complete what?